everybody? Welcome into the Winner's Lounge.
Lasers. Lasers.
It is vibes. It is so much vibes. Nuggets get a blowout win at home against the Thunder, the final game of a 3-game homestand. They win 119-101. And we're going to be talking through all that. We got a lot. We got a game to go over.
Oh.
We're going to play a little real or not real. Oh. We're going to talk about Michael Porter Jr., who finally gets to come back. This was the end of this non-Michael Porter era. Can't wait for that. So there's a lot to get to. I'm Adam Adas. I'm joined by the man who is on vacation always.
Picked the right shirt for a Winner's Lounge. And I can't say that I knew for sure it was going to be a Winner's Lounge when I picked it out, but
man, I knew this was a game Nuggets couldn't have lost. We also got D-Line Co over here.
Yeah, you mentioned all those things we're going to talk about. Do we have to talk about the game?
I think we have to talk about the game.
Can we just skip straight to the games?
We absolutely have to talk about it. And then, of course, the superstar Dev.
Winner's Lounge. I'm in it. I'm here.
What more could you need?
I'm in the Winner's Lounge.
What more could you have asked for? So the Nuggets do get the win in this one, and they didn't have to necessarily try that hard for it. It was ugly for a while. We were kind of frustrated. We were grouchy, but the bench came in at the start of the second quarter, blew this thing wide open, a 34-21 second quarter. Jokic finishes with 27 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. It was an easy one. Dev, what's your first takeaway from this game? I feel like the game ended 40 minutes ago. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like we just had to watch garbage time for a long time.
Yeah, it was a long fourth quarter.
My biggest takeaway is Nikola Jokic continues on this track. Like he's really playing at a different pace than anyone else in the world. He's in a world of his own, and I think that everyone should just respect him.
Respect his authority.
I mean, yeah, sure. He does deserve all of our respect. I think he has everybody's respect and admiration. I really do, man. Like, would we like him to be the consensus MVP or this, that, sure. But that's never going to happen. But people know, man. What's your takeaway?
Man, I thought the bench looked strong, and I sent probably like a little rushed bit of a victory lap tweet a few games ago. But the bench hasn't looked bad now that they're whole. And I think that bad. They've looked competent. Now, maybe we still overhyped them, but yeah, I mean, the bench that Denver's front office actually put together this offseason, which includes JaMychal Green, I thought they've looked pretty good, and I thought they looked good tonight.
Still not ready to go that far. About the bench, you don't like, because you're right that they have looked good. Like if you look at the last 5 games,
competent.
Four or five of them have been good, but 4 or 5 of the teams they've played have been bad. Yeah, like they've played a lot of bad ones, and they look really good. But the jury for me still very much out, but maybe that'll come up later in real or not real.
Biggest takeaway for me tonight was how just easy that game. Like,
yeah,
we're talking about a team that is perpetually on the quest for 500. They go up, they go down, they go up. But then, like, there's games like this. You're like, yeah, they're gonna kill that's their better team. Like that is how the Nuggets are supposed to play. But they haven't been playing like that. The bench was totally reliable. The bench actually, I think the entire Nuggets team was in plus.
No,
minus the garbage time boys.
Until garbage time, and then we got our poor Zeke Naji. Goes 5 minutes, gets a minus 11.
Well, cut him.
Man, Zeke Naji. Actually, it was worse for a couple of these guys. I'm trying to look. Marcus Howard gets 4 minutes. He's a minus 5. It's tough, man. Boy. It's tough.
Well, but, the Nuggets look like the team that we thought they were tonight. But a lot of that has to do with the competition, unfortunately.
So that's my takeaway, and I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer of the group, but my takeaway was that was a team that was really bad.
Yeah.
That Oklahoma City team. I don't think that team's capable of beating the Denver Nuggets. Like, it would have taken 20 different miracles. Because they actually got some miracles. If you think about it tonight, Baisley, Joe Dirt, as you call him, Lou Dort.
That's so good. Lou Dirt every time.
Lou Dirt every time.
Dirt. I didn't call him that, but I picked up on it. Now I will only call him that for the rest of my life.
These guys were draining threes early on. Lou Dort goes 3 of 6. Baisley actually only finished 2 of 7, which I'm very surprised by. But like they knocked down some shots early on, and Denver still this game was over at halfway through the third quarter. So that's one of my takeaways. But you know what? Who cares? It's the schedule. You play who's in front of you. Denver needed a stabilization game. This was one, and I think there were some good positives. Not least among them, Jamal Murray tonight. 21 minutes. I think that was like the biggest blessing. Like, I don't even care that he didn't play well tonight, didn't shoot well.
Right.
21 minutes, get him out of there. He got a bloody nose. They're like, all right, just take it to the bench. So that's the story to me. Bad team, but Denver did what they needed to do after a shaky start to be able to make this a game that nobody really had to break a sweat.
Hey, this year they've lost to all types of teams. In years past, they've lost to teams like OKC. I mean, of course, records notwithstanding, Denver should blow the doors off this team. But they've struggled to put together complete efforts. They've struggled to blow teams out. They effectively did it. They got Murray some rest. So you said it. You play the schedule, and tonight they played up.
Yeah. So this was, it was a win. And we got to see, I think, a lot of the stuff, that's worthy of talking about in this game that we'll get to in sort of the next segments is really about second units. You have a great smile. Was there a great comment or?
No, I'm a winner with a winning smile. Look at
You're
me.
a winner with a winning smile.
I'm just looking at myself on screen. Look at my smile.
Speaking of which, guys, I don't know if you know this. You can hear in the background. We're open here at the DNVR Bar, and we can have, I think, like 40-something people. 35 people. So, and I think that number's going to go up here in like a week or two. So, if for Nuggets game nights, come on down. Tonight we had Nuggets and Avs. Almost all Avs people. We actually had the Nuggets for a while, and then we had to switch over to Avs audio. But come on down, check out the games if you're thinking about it.
If you want a hearty 5 from me.
We do giveaways, and like with only 35 people here, your odds of winning a giveaway.
Shouts to the Nuggets fans we did see here tonight.
Yeah, your odds. Let me do 1 in 35.
They're a little lower than that.
let me do a little quick little math here.
So Jokic tonight, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. The baby food. It was baby food. We don't even have to talk about this game too much, I don't think, from Jokic, because he honestly, man, was in like sleepwalk mode and put up those numbers tonight.
Yeah, my big Jokic takeaway was he was like, 12 of 21, and I thought that was kind of inefficient given his standards.
Kind of felt like
it's this, and I wrote this in the grades the other night. Until the season's gone, and that's the case, the Nuggets aren't wasting anything from Jokic, only insofar as this isn't going anywhere. Right. This is who Jokic is, and this magic well isn't drying up anytime soon.
Does he drop below 10 assists, though? By the way, he had 6 assists tonight. How many assists should he have had?
9 to 10.
Quick calculation, 700.
I think it was 700 potential assists tonight.
You're horrible with math tonight.
You're horrible with math. Look at that. You know what? Actually, can we start the show over? Ask me what my biggest takeaway is.
What's your biggest takeaway?
Everyone rewind. Just to skip the whole first part. Here's the biggest takeaway. Jokic got a mother effing haircut.
Yeah,
and
haircut Jokic.
Haircut Jokic was here tonight. Haircut Jokic was not to be denied. He did what he wanted. He wanted to do what he did.
Jokic at the level. So a couple of games ago, they play the Warriors, and Steve Kerr's talking about Wiseman. He's like, yeah, I think he's going to learn some lessons tonight. Just kind of like, if you're a young player coming into the league, Jokic is now maybe the single guy at the center position where if you're coming into the league, it's like, yeah, you don't know what you're in for. And tonight, you're talking about a bunch of young dudes that are out there to guard him, and Roby, who I thought battled hard, but it was one of those games where it was like, Jokic was like, hey, man, almost like he didn't dislike the guy, where he's like, look, I'm just going to coast to a nice 27, 12, and 6 tonight. I'm not going to humiliate you, but,
And, Steve Kerr said before that Warriors-Nuggets game that for James Wiseman, it was mostly going to be a night of learning some tough lessons.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, learning those lessons. I thought with Isaiah Roby tonight, you could almost see him, take inventory after each possession. Okay, I didn't get quite murdered there. I'm playing well. I'm playing hard. But it's cool to see, Jokic is one of those guys now. I think if you're an Isaiah Roby or what DeAndre Ayton once was, you come into the league, you see that matchup, and you get a little nervous.
I'm telling you, I think he's the guy. Because you've got, Karl Anthony Towns, you've got DeMarcus Cousins, you've got Joel Embiid. Those guys are going to dunk on you. They're going to post up and score on you. But I feel like when Jokic is on the court, dudes are just always I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. He's doing crazy.
100%.
Oh, and he's scoring again.
Did you hear everyone downstairs cheer for your Roby take?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they're really incredible.
I'm dialed in.
So many fans down there at Roby.
I don't want to talk too much about Jokic, what he did tonight, but those numbers that he came up with was in 3 quarters. That's the part to really think about. He put up a massive stat line in 3 quarters, and he really didn't even have to do too much.
No.
And that was also a game that he didn't even try to take over in. If he wanted to score every single time, if they wanted to give it to him on every single possession, I truly think that
tonight
he would have been able to put up 50 or 60 points.
What could he have gone for? What's the number Jokic would have scored if that was his goal tonight? Was just I'm going to score as many points as possible.
Honestly, if you gave him
in the comments too,
if you gave him a Wilt Chamberlain type of game where they're just going out of their way to give him the basket every a point every time, I think he would score 70.
Yeah, I think so.
I honestly think he would have scored 70.
Yeah, just as matters if OKC doubles or not, right? And if they don't, no reason he can't score 50 plus.
But I'm saying if he was trying to score, he would shoot over doubles and I don't know what the best double team they could have thrown at him. Roby and Dort.
Good point. And Jokic has a sneaky amount of 35 plus 40-point games. He gets to those. He could have gone for 50 tonight.
Well, if you just extrapolate this, he gets 27 in 3 quarters. Okay, he could have got 36 if he played at this pace
I love this-
in
I
4
love this
quarters.
game, yeah.
I'm doing math here, Eric. So he could have got 36 points tonight just playing at this pace, which
Yeah.
was half pace.
Yeah.
I'm going to double that,
Sure.
72. Could have
And
had
then, like,
72.
don't forget the multiplier.
I think you're
So it
right.
would have been, like, what, like 400 points?
How many titles is that for Denver?
I've got a fun little impromptu quote I need to read.
Okay.
Oh, impromptu quote. We're ready to react.
All right. I locked him in my office one day and beat him with a pillowcase full of soda cans. This is coming from our friend Ryan Blackburn.
Okay, but we don't know the context, so
He
I like
says-
it.
And you know what, Ryan? I disagree. He says I could provide context, but I don't really feel like it's needed on this one.
We need it, yeah.
I think we should play. What do you think the context?
Oh, yeah.
So that he stopped drinking Coca-Cola?
Jokic, right? Jokic
No,
losing.
I think that it's that he's been to prison. Malone has been to prison. And
Well, this is the code red from A Few Good Men, where they actually beat him with soap. Anyway, this is clear. What he's talking about,
That's right,
obviously, is trying to
Get Jokic
make
to quit
Bol tougher.
no.
Oh, yeah, we actually don't even know who he's talking about.
We don't know anything.
Wow, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is a tough one to really crack. This is a tough
I
code.
think that mine is the closest, really. Though.
What is
There's
it?
Some
Bobo?
Michael Malone has been to prison.
Well, that's the backstory. But what is this specifically referring
Does that
to?
mean that he has a goal?
right,
He's definitely been to prison.
Like, why is it, like, what is this weapon of choice? A pillowcase with soda cans? Something's going on here.
Eric, the commenters want you to know that you can't handle the truth.
That's right. They get the
Google
reference.
it,
Then you
kids.
do.
That's funny. So other story tonight for me, I thought Will Barton and Paul Millsap were very good tonight, both of them. Will Barton, I still had people in my mentions telling me that he was terrible for some reason, with some inexplicable reason. He goes 5 of 7, including 3
Will
of 4.
was great tonight.
Yeah, he was great tonight. So, but 13 plus 15, he had 13 points, 6 assists. By the way, tied for a team high, 3 rebounds. He did get a steal.
Don't you feel like at a certain point, like guys have Hootsuite and they're scheduling Will Barton hate tweets to just fire off because they can't watch the games?
But look, I understand this one thing. Like, there are things, the person that gets under your skin, and then they don't do anything wrong, but you're just like, did you fucking hear what Vogt said the other day? And you're like, yeah, that's just a regular, pretty banal thing. It's like, yeah, but I just hate Vogt, and that's kind of how it is.
Constantly happening to me, too.
That is constantly
I
happening.
get that.
With me and Vogt.
But okay, all jokes aside, Barton has been really bad this year. Hasn't been finishing at the
Up and
rim.
down, for sure.
Up and down. The defense has
down.
been really spotty. But I think he's up to 40% on the year now from 3. I would have to double check that. That's going to be huge. He's going to need that, especially as he waits to or maybe doesn't get that around the rim back.
40%, dude. That's the high point of the human machine.
And I also thought tonight there are moments with Barton that aren't necessarily reflected in the box score, where like someone swings the ball to him and he's like, dude, no, Jokic has a mismatch. Immediately swings it back, points. He is a Jokic player through and through. And I think we think of those highlights, probably I should say lowlights, where he gets selfish. But in my opinion, that would ignore a lot of these moments throughout the game where he really understands what it means to play with Jokic.
I think 3 of the 4 last games or so, he's played like his shot totals have been like 7, 6, 6, and he hasn't made them. Like tonight, he goes 5 of 7, but a couple of these nights have been 1 of 6, 2 of 6. But like I said, he's not taking too many of them. Paul Millsap tonight gets 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. A throwback Paul Millsap game, plus 21, a team high plus 21. He also had one of the best boards. Actually, no, Monte Morris was higher, but he had one of the best boards. He had a board tonight where there were 5 Thunder players and 1 Paul Millsap, and he just hulked them all, like threw them off. I think it's Hulk, right? That's the green one. Yeah, just grabbed it right from all of them and was like, too strong for you.
This man informs your culture, Denver. He exists outside of culture.
This is what's known as a tastemaker.
Well, he said Hulk, and then he made Arnold Schwarzenegger like type noises.
He has no clue what the Hulk is. He has no clue.
But yeah, Will Barton and Paul Millsap, there's no way you look at this game and think anything negative. Like, this was a positive game for them. And also,
did Mikko Rantanen score? Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go, dude.
You talked about that a lot today.
So here's the thing. You guys, you might not know, we're actually starting to do pregame shows now. So we've been doing postgame shows for a while. Pregame shows. And in part of our pregame shows, we pick different bets that we really like. Eric really didn't quite understand the show early on, but he gave us a couple Avs bets. So
I'm sorry. I thought the whole point was to give free money to the people that were watching.
I think there's
He just
DNVR
cashed in.
bets.
To be fair, the Jokic parlay would have paid a lot of people.
The Miko Jokic parlay
Yeah,
hit.
and it was
He's
not a
right.
pure Miko. It was a Miko Jokic double parlay. I parlayed Jokic double with 2 Miko things, and they both hit. Screw you both. Let's go.
Well, if we're taking victory laps here, I also want to take we can move now to Gary Harris. Oh, by the way, Paul Millsap goes 2 of 5 from the 3-point line. Gary Harris goes 3 of 6 tonight. That was my pick tonight. Look, I want to tip my hat to Gary Harris. Ryan Blackburn had a phenomenal stat out there. I retweeted him today, but Gary Harris, I think he's 2 of 25 from threes above the break. That means non-corner threes. 2 of 25. That's 8%.
And I do think, Adam, which
That's
would
the
be
low point of the human machine.
That's the low point. You can't miss more than that. The ball just
impossible.
bounces in on that.
Interestingly enough, though, I think at this point now his corner 3 numbers are back up to where they have been the last couple of years, which has been 40 plus. So it's not that he shouldn't shoot, but maybe not above the break.
I think he's 48% from the corners, but here's the problem with that is, they stick him in the corner a lot. But
Yeah.
you can't always have a player in the corner. You can't tell a guy like he's never leaves the corner. That's the only place he makes it. But
Jay Tucker.
I feel inclined to.
inclined to.
I would if Adam, you play basketball. There's certain shots that you probably have never shot in your life.
Sure.
I probably have never shot a corner 3 ball. So
Really?
you just go to your spots that you feel comfortable with.
The bench unit tonight, though, was a big story as well. A lot of positives out there. Monte Morris continues to be Mr. Nugget. I mean, the first ballot Mr. Nugget. 7 for 11 from the field tonight. He was a plus 22. 5 assists. 1 turnover, guys. 1 turnover.
I gotta
hate
thank,
to see it.
I gotta
Tighten it
thank
up.
Monte
Tighten it
for being the only player who's proved me right about 100% of things I've said about him.
Yeah, that's
and that
true.
has nothing to do with me and everything to do with Monte. He's so good.
He does reward your faith.
I had a theory tonight. I tweeted it. Harrison Wind immediately confirmed it with stats, which is always very validating. But Monte Morris is shooting even better at the rim this year than he has in years past, in my opinion, through some higher degree of difficulty shots. So that's a guy who we thought is maybe a high floor, but not a lot of headroom guy. He's better. He's gotten better.
The second off the bench in plus minus, Isaiah Hartenstein tonight, 13 minutes, plus 17. And he had 7 rebounds tonight to go with 5 points. The numbers don't necessarily pop off the sheet there, but here's my Isaiah Hartenstein take. He played 13 minutes.
Oh.
And some of this was that the Nuggets were a blowout. Malone, before the game, was asked about Hartenstein's minutes, and he says he gets those first half minutes. Second half, I have to feel the game out and see how it goes. And almost every time so far this season, he's not feeling Isaiah Hartenstein.
I haven't really been feeling Isaiah myself.
The second he said that, though, I thought tonight was going to be you think about the opponent not having a center. And Wind has been all over this. This is now, I'm just a Harrison Wind stan, I guess. But you have to trust this bench. You have to let Hartenstein play through it because you signed a backup center, and he was part of the plan. So I'm glad Malone did that tonight.
Yeah, they're like, we have a backup center, but what if we played our starting center all of the minutes
PJ
instead?
Dozier could be a power forward. Let's get wild.
So here's an interesting thing, and this is a bit self-selecting. Individual net rating means points scored per 100 possessions versus points allowed per 100 possessions. You do the difference there. That's a team stat. It's self-selecting in some ways. It doesn't tell the whole story, but it is illuminating in some ways. Number 2 on the Nuggets roster, numbers 2 and 3, JaMychal Green, Monte Morris, basically right around 10, between 10 and 11. Number 1, Isaiah Hartenstein, plus 18 net rating on the season. Now, he's not playing a lot of minutes. By far the highest net rating on the team.
He's
That's
barely
insane.
played. He's barely played.
But all the same, he hasn't played any good minutes. Like, that's confusing to me.
Well, the Knicks game, there were like a plus 35
Yeah, I
or
guess
plus
so.
50 net rating, but that would help. But nonetheless, my point is, Hartenstein, because that bench unit has been so rough, Hartenstein has been the guy that is pulled out first. It's like when things don't go right, like, okay, we're going to mini lads and we're going to JaMychal Green at the 5. But Hartenstein, here's the thing, he's a young, unproven player. And I think he does some things well. He was also, by the way, and this is shouts to my guy EG from Reddit, who's like the
Let's go, EG.
Who's
Hartenstein
in here tonight, by the way?
Oh!
Is he
Guess who he's talking? Is exactly what you're
He's
about
talking
to
about
say.
Hartenstein.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. When he was in Houston,
Let's go.
he also led the Rockets, again, in very limited moments, and again, a little bit self-selecting because mostly it's garbage time, mostly it's this or that. But nonetheless, led them in net rating then. So with Hartenstein and with young players, I think often, they have to do 130% to break into the rotation, right? Because coaches are always going to know, like, I know what my floor is for these guys, these veteran players or what have you. But I do think nights like tonight are important for Hartenstein to earn more minutes, to say, like, okay, you know what? He played 13 minutes. He's only been playing 6, but he played 13 tonight, and they were all good.
Yeah,
true.
great point, Adam.
Oh, man, I love it when everybody's like, I have
Well,
no takes on Hartenstein.
Well, it's like when you say something that's just so all encapsulated. What are we left to say? Yes.
All right.
Good point,
Well,
boss.
this one
We
might
agree.
That's the right thing to say. We don't have nothing.
This
else
one might
needs
come
to
up
be said.
a little bit later. And then Campazzo, we have to mention him. 1 of 6 shooting, 3 points, 1 assist, 1 steal. Doesn't quite do it justice because he did have one of the highlights of the night through the legs. By the way, and I only know this from when we got Campazzo going through the highlight mixes, this is a Campazzo special.
Yeah.
The through the legs on the fast break, that's he likes that one.
He didn't even care who was behind him. It was Monte trailing him, not like a high flyer
That's so
dunker
true.
or anything like that. And it was through traffic, so Monte had to like finesse his way as a creative finisher around the rim. Luckily, it's Monte because anybody else that probably doesn't go in if you don't have a dunker. But the thing that I want to ask you guys is, you look at Facu play 18 minutes, and then also Monte Morris has been playing out of his mind, and then you see Jamal Murray get hurt and he actually has to sit a little bit. Does that transition into let's sit Jamal since Michael Porter Jr. is coming back anyway?
Man, I hope so.
The only thing with that, and I think about Malone starting Bull and him explaining his rationale, the bench is starting to figure it out. And tonight it was those 5 guys. So do you want to pull them apart? Right? I mean, you want to win the
You
basketball
have to
game.
pull them apart because you have a guy coming in anyway. But if you don't have to pull them
Good
apart,
point.
if you put someone, you keep Will Barton in the starting lineup, and now you just shift over.
So
someone.
would you start Monte then, and it's Campazzo running the second unit?
You
right?
have to make a shift anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I would go with.
Well, we're going to be getting a shift because Michael Porter Jr. is coming.
Well,
in.
as a tease, the next episode of Keeping It 1000 with George Carl going to drop tonight. I recorded it earlier. George Carl, big believer in mixing things up, trying crazy, not just hey, let's plug one player here or there. He's a fan of trying out a bunch of different moves. So
is he talking about our
says Jokic on the
lineups
bench.
here on the DNVR postgame show? Sometimes Vogt's here.
Ooh, that's true.
sometimes it's Harrison.
So weirdly enough, doesn't
Not
care.
talking-
He doesn't care. Doesn't care.
You know what? He hasn't mentioned it, Eric.
So anyway, I just that was that bench good game, bench solid performance, good performances from Barton and Millsap, which was nice to see, and then Jokic. I mean, he's just how many bad quarters has Jokic played this year?
None.
Has he played any?
None.
Actually?
He can't afford to.
What's his worst quarter? Is probably like 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
He was a bit of a tale of 2 halves against Brooklyn. First half was great, second half not so much. So it's probably in there.
I don't remember that, but okay. Let's go to break. We'll take our first break, and then on the other side, we'll get to a game of is it real or is it not real?
Oh.
Is it real or not real?
I can't wait.
Oh, do I have to do the Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. One of the few things we talk about here at DNVR, Denver Sports, and Breck Brew. Guys, what's your favorite Breck Brew?
We do this one all the time. I'll always answer a different
I
one.
like the Mile High City. You want to know why?
Why's
Because
that?
it tastes like the Denver Nuggets. Delicious.
You want to celebrate the win?
They call it Jokic's sweat.
Check out
Dude,
that Mile
dude,
High
if they-
City
if
Copper
they,
Lager.
If they canned Jokic's
Juice drop
sweat, I don't
today.
know if I could buy enough. I would buy as much.
There's
a
also
keg
the
of Jokic's
the
sweat.
IPA hazy juice drop. Am I saying that right?
Juice Drop Hazy IPA.
Yeah, that's
You know
a
what? I
delicious
kinda do
one.
wanna
If you're
beer
an
it.
IPA guy.
there you are.
Guys, the farmhouse.
Think and you shall receive.
The farmhouse is open right now. Call 303-803-1380 from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. for pickup. If you use code DNVR, you can save $5 on their delicious food, their great booze that you know all about. Or just come to one of these watch parties. Check it out. We got Breck Brew on tap.
Come through.
And I was very excited myself for being ready for the first ad read, and then I didn't.
You weren't even
check-
ready for
MSU
the first.
Denver Online.
You weren't even ready for the first.
MSU Denver
My favorite
Online.
My favorite like
MSU.
little moment of any show we've ever done is when Vogt was like, "Ugh, how is Harrison always so prepared for this?" We're like, "That's how he's prepared."
The battery is dead. How
The
else
fact
can
that
I
he is
explain this?
prepared is how he is prepared.
Hey, now is the time, as in today, is the time to apply and register for classes. I'm not sure if it's expired, but after January 19th, which is today, you can no longer apply. But apply and register for classes at MSU Denver Online. If you use the code DNVR, you do not have to pay the application fee. So there's literally no excuse not to do it. It's free.
Stop making excuses.
Just apply. What's the cool thing about MSU Denver Online? They've been doing this online education thing for a while. It's not a lazy A to B experience. They know what it should look like. They know what it should feel like. And while we're all in this sort of place where we're choosing, what's safe, what's convenient for us, do I leave my home, do I stay home? You don't have to choose. You can get your education. You can bring your education to you. Check out MSU Denver Online.
And then we have a video. Are we going to a video now?
My bad,
Go to a
Kel.
video.
So what exactly is video care? Well, video care is like a trip to Zoom care, just from your couch. You can see, hear, and chat with your doctor, just like a traditional in-office visit. Get secure access to urgent, primary, and specialist care, including mental health. It's all from the comfort of your own home. Video care is covered by most private insurers, usually with a copay. Head to zoomcare.com/video to get started.
All right, back here, guys, for segment 2 here of the DNVR Nuggets postgame show. And let's play a little game a bit of real or not real. That's what we called it. We have our graphic here. Real or not real? Oh, wow, I'm Bigfoot. I guess that's accurate. Vote the Loch Ness Monster. There's no aliens in it?
Well, so both Dev and I are real.
We have to be UFOs. We have to be real or UFOs.
We're like what I like to say, mad real. And the two of them, like,
wow, you like to say that. All right, the first thing I have on here, guys. PJ Dozier's 3-point field goal percentage. What if I told you guys that PJ Dozier, not known for being an elite 3-point shooter, shooting 41% coming into this game, and then tonight he goes 2 of 5, so actually lowered his percentage by only shooting 40% tonight. Dev, is this real? Dozier, reliable 3-point shooter?
I was always taught men lie. Women lie. But numbers don't.
numbers don't lie, baby.
And you came up with the numbers, so how could I argue that?
Yeah.
I don't know how you could.
He's clearly shooting the ball well, and like you said, he's not relatively known as a shooter. So for him to be shooting it so well, and also when you think about PJ Dozier, is how aggressive he is and the type of shots he's taking. I could just think back to the first shot that he took today, a step back with a guy in his face. He made it. He drained it.
Yeah.
His shot is for real. No Loch Ness Monster.
No. So he shot 25. Well, I say 25%. He shot 2 of 8 for 3 his sophomore year. His rookie season, he only played 3 games or 3 minutes total, and he didn't take a 3 in those 3 minutes. 2 of 8. Then last year, 17 of 49. Tonight, he's 11 of 27. So all of this is very small sample size, but he is draining it.
Harrison Wind stand checking in here. Wind asked Dozier about this recently and also tweeted about it. So no, I'm not surprised. Dozier said he spent a lot of time. It's repetition, but there's more to it. He said you have to go back and try to understand why certain shots went in and why certain shots didn't. So it's been repetition, getting in the film room. I think he really understands his shooting is going to be key to unlocking more minutes. So I think I only have 2 options, huh? Real or not real?
Yeah,
it's real until it isn't.
yeah. Yep.
Eric?
I don't really believe that stat because the eye test doesn't really seem to bear it out. But I'm with Dev. Like, what do I say? Of course, it's real. Like it's actually more remarkable because of how unbelievable it is having watched him. Like, it seems like his shot isn't falling, but it's actually going in at a much higher clip, which is encouraging. Like, imagine what it'll look like if he's actually looks like he's playing well also.
I just think he's streaky, and so I am waiting for that other foot to drop.
So I think I'm going to say not real. I think he could be maybe better than I expect. If you would have asked me what he's going to shoot this year coming into the season, I probably would have said 33%. Maybe he's 37.
40 seems high.
41.
41 is high. Yeah, he's definitely like a 30, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32.
We'll find out. So we're
somewhere in there.
We're not buying real. A lot of people in the comment section, though, big fans. You know what I'm a big fan of?
What's that?
George Carl calls him Dozier. I love that
Duvalier and Dozier.
We're going to stick with the 3-point percentage monster here, guys. We're going to go to one of the greatest 3-point shooters in all of the NBA. Sir JaMychal Green, 20 of 39. He was coming into this game 51.3%. 51.3%. And then tonight, what did he do? JaMychal Green, he goes 2 of 5, so he lowers it by quite a bit. Only
had a
40%.
terrible night by his standards.
I'll start over this side.
The over 40 is real. I mean, over 50 probably not. But JaMychal Green being a guy who is circle of trust, open from the wing 3, you'll take that every time. That's real. I asked him about that actually at what point in his career. He said it was recent. Like when he played in high school and college, he was a mid-range guy. He was banging down low.
Yeah.
He saw the writing on the wall that if he was going to play at this point in the league and adapt, he needed to be able to do this, and he put a lot of work in. it does not look streaky. I love his form, and I love when he shoots.
Eric?
You know what I'm going to say here, right? Dozier is not, or not Dozier. Green has not overperformed the limits of the human machine. There's no chance he's a 50% three-point shooter. The human machine dictates that I think 45% is the highest a human being is capable of shooting it in this league. I think he is probably a 41 to 42% three-point shooter. I'm with you. Like, I think it's going in absolutely every time he gets it. And it turns out half the time that's correct. So, but I mean, that it's just so, it's the percentage is so ridiculous that I just can't believe it, baby. It's just, it's too good to be true.
What do you think, Dev?
JaMychal Green, my belief in him, very real. The shot, not as real as we see. Like, those numbers cannot keep up. There's no way he keeps up those type of numbers. And that's insane. It's not that I don't believe in the fact that he can shoot well. It's the fact that that's so impossible of a person that's open all of the time. He's always in the right spot. Right. He's always going to get shots. They're going to have to play him more with Jokic or in these positions that he's going to have to shoot a lot of shots. So I just don't think that he keeps that up. But he's real.
I do think he's going to be open a lot. I do. And so I think I like his chance to shoot above 40.
Yeah. And then who knows? Maybe he starts. I'm so curious to see if Millsap starts all year. Because Millsap was good tonight, and he has the familiarity in his corner. But I don't know. JaMychal Green, I kind of want to see him more with Jokic, and who knows what that does to his three-point percentage. You'd think it'd make it, stay at that level. Monte Morris currently leading the NBA in assist-to-turnover ratio. I think that's very real. Let's get that out of the way. But the degree to which he's doing it, you talk about the human limits. There seems to be a human limit on assist-to-turnover ratio. It's 5-1. It's 5-1. You can be a little above that if you can run maybe a little lucky, a little below that. But 5-1, that's the limit. He's at 8-1. 8-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Is this real? Are we going to expect a historic?
Yes. This is real, dude.
Wow.
This is real. Like, he came into the league, this being the thing that he did.
The number one thing.
Number one thing that he did. And what is he doing? He's improving. Like, he's getting better all the time. Why that wouldn't also improve, I don't know. Apparently basketball is where we find the limits of human ability, and we've seen it with three-point shooting. And all Monte is doing is just bending what it is to be a human being. And
it's the 4-minute mile
I'm here
of assists.
Yeah. Like at this point, like, I mean, it is honestly, it's hilarious when he does turn it over. You're like, oh, it's like, it feels so crushing because, like,
I mean, for this to be real, you would either have to be Tyus Jones.
No, he's better.
Or Monte Morris.
Right.
And because Monte is absolutely this guy, I think this is what he'll be remembered for in an admittedly small, contained way.
Having the most underrated season, man, like you could possibly have. Like, Jokic is being underrated because he's doing the triple-double, but at least people know this. Monte Morris, if you just ask the average, like, NBA fan, like, hey, what's going on with the Nuggets? Who are the guys? Nobody would bring up Monte. He's like freaking 8-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, 40% three-point shooting. Like, everything is great.
Consider the fact that Jokic is playing at the level that he's playing. We have a player on our team that's shooting over 50% from the three-point line.
So
we have a player that's absolutely breaking the assist-to-turnover ratio record for the NBA, and we are 500.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
So I do have three.
I just ran the numbers. That's literally impossible.
3 quick yes or no's for you guys on Monte, because it could be higher or lower. So just yes or no. 4th best player?
No.
This year? No.
Best, no, but like most consistent, which is important. Like, he is the best more often than not.
I was just going to keep going higher.
Okay.
Yeah,
Third best player?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Third best player?
Monte Morris, the third best player.
I think he has been
For this year.
through 12, 13 games, wherever they're at.
I might argue for
14
JaMychal
games?
Green.
How many games have they played?
JaMychal Green. He might
I would
be
say
the third.
Monte.
I would
This
say
is a
Monte.
silly conversation.
I would
but
too, actually. I actually would say Monte over
I've been
JaMychal.
shouted down. Fine.
One thing that I think is so cool about these games that we play is, Adam, you found a way to mentally create a cool way to put your advanced stats into all of these things. Like, these are things that you're not necessarily thinking about,
right.
But then you make it sound cool that you could, like, relate it to the regular, like, person, because
I know what the show is missing? More compliments of me.
exactly.
This is like where we're peaking as a show.
Do you guys want to all go around and give Adam
everybody one
I have a
compliment.
compliment for you,
Okay,
Adam.
Just not
please.
enough Adam in this show.
I forgot it.
You forgot it. Damn it.
I like your hair.
All right. Next one. Real or not real? Haircut Jokic. Is this a thing? Is this a thing?
This is realer than real.
The realest?
Oh,
This is
the
as real
realest.
as it gets.
This is as real as it gets.
So unfortunately, I think it was Ryan Blackburn. Someone actually did a deep dive on this, which should have been strictly forbidden, but I don't think it's real. Sorry, he's been playing at this level all season. What? I didn't
So
even think
true.
he was that impressive.
This was
tonight.
actually like his
kind of a
10th
downer.
best game.
0 for 4
He
from
only
3.
played 3/4.
He only played 3/4.
It's true.
Haircut Jokic. You know what Haircut Jokic speaks to?
Oh, can you give your actual psychoanalysis here?
Yes, I've given this more than once, and I believe this in my heart. It's more than aesthetics. It's more than aerodynamics. What it speaks to is Nikola Jokic's reflection on self. When he starts to look at himself and wants to do for self,
Wow.
it actually helps others.
What?
Yeah, because Jokic is about like,
Don't blow it, Eric.
I'm not. Listen, like he's focused on what he needs to do. And what he needs to do is get this team orchestrated, moving. He starts to score. He's just locked in. Like Jokic is a guy that I guarantee looks in the mirror once a week. Like never, he just like he's
That's
like
a great take.
he brushes his teeth. He does all the things he needs to do to be presentable, but like doesn't care that much. But when he does a thing like this, where you're like, oh wow, he actually, and he probably doesn't care how he looks. It probably is purely a aerodynamic thing. But to me, it just says like he resets his like, all right, I've got to like recenter and focus.
A lot of
That's
projection there, but you landed the
It's
plane.
a lot of projection.
So I'm proud of you.
I don't care what Ryan Blackburn says. It bears out every time there's been a Haircut Jokic game, and I get hyped for it. It pays off every time.
I listen to D-Line. I believe D-Line.
Thanks,
You
man.
like it. You like it. So
I
when
think that just means when Eric's hair is getting too long, he's really depressed.
he's really depressed. That's what
That's
it
what
means.
I got
Yeah,
from
like
that.
his beard's out of control. Well, hold on. We gotta wait. It is been breezy, but we're gonna have to contain the breeze for a little bit here
It looks
because
like
we have a
looks
couple
like
more.
the breeze is actually walking. If I
So, Jokic now has 9 dunks. He had a dunk tonight. Nice little spin move, tomahawk, I guess, or whatever. But he has 14 games, 9 dunks. Is there any chance he gets a dunk per game? He's a little behind. He's a little behind now, but he could have a 2-3 dunk game.
That's not real. But the fact that he probably leads the team in dunks, that's
Ooh, let me look it up.
That's got to be real. Like that makes it so wild because Jokic is a player that had more triple doubles than he had.
Holy
dunks
crap!
at
Is
times.
Jokic going to lead the team? No way. Michael Porter is definitely going to pass him.
Well,
Michael Porter, yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
Michael
seems like
Porter.
there's a lot of roadblocks. Between.
Michael Porter has 4 dunks in 4 games,
Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
he will pass up Jokic.
He's just
Maybe.
gotta get on the
Maybe.
court.
this will absolutely be Jokic's #1 dunk season, though,
Oh, for sure.
without second place.
So he is now with 9 dunks. His career high is 23. So he is already almost halfway to his dunk total.
23. Can you imagine being 7 feet tall and finishing an entire 82 game
Well,
season
I know
with 9 dunks?
his rookie season and sophomore season, there were so many like he could have dunked, and he would be like,
Yeah.
like for no reason, and he'd be like, I guess he just
He's
doesn't
also
want
a
to
lot,
dunk.
like bigger, and now it looks like he's like going after dunks. He's
Yeah, he
pulling
is.
himself up on the rim. I know that's like has to be like a mental edge that he's put to himself because even when it's like a regular dunk, he makes sure to pull himself up. That's different.
If we take him for his word that he's been, fairly experimental with his weight or whatever, I mean, there probably is like a oh yeah, I can do this, you know?
The last one I have for you guys, just kind of a check-in, because we are back to 500. Nuggets now 7-7, 14 games in. Jokic's MVP odds. Because the only thing we keep hearing is that the team isn't good enough. Maybe they start to climb back. Are we buying his odds at MVP? Does he have a real shot?
I do. I think he does. And for me, it's contingent upon, first of all, still, after all we've seen, thinking, if I had to choose right now, are the Nuggets more likely to miss out on home court or get it? I still think they're more likely to get it.
Wow.
I know that seems like a warm take at this point, but, the Lakers look great. Other than that, standing's a little jumbled. Russ got it done at 6th, right?
Yeah.
The Thunder finished 6th in the West. Jokic doesn't have that name brand value, but he's having a better season. So, look, if he averages a triple-double on 50-40, 65% true shooting, which he's doing right now, they have to consider him.
Dev, you buying it? Is it
think,
real?
I think I'll buy. And the reason that I'll buy
It's
is
real.
because it's real.
We're not playing by
guy's
yourself.
different.
We're
What the
playing
hell,
a
dude?
completely different game.
I
Real
was
or
tricked.
not real?
I was tricked. Are you buying it? Yeah, I'll buy it.
It's true. You actually, that was leading the
was
witness.
tricked. This is real. And the reason for that is because of the standings. That's really all it is. Like every single argument is that they're not winning games.
No.
Say that the Nuggets do reel off a few wins in a row and they move up the standings. Then you're really just contending with who really in the West? LeBron, Anthony Davis, Luka. he's playing as good and if not better than all of those guys.
He's playing
so
better
he has
than
to
all
be
of
in
them.
there.
He's playing better
Exactly.
than all of them. Yeah.
So I think that's real.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep hearing about Embiid with his MVP numbers. I don't know what. This is like one of these things where like we were joking in the offseason, like Marcus Howard. He's like, what does this guy have to do? Like he breaks the NCAA record for 3 points, and it's still like, he doesn't get drafted. It's like, dude, what do I have to do? It's like Jokic is. You see those hilarious NBA math graphs where Jokic is just so far. He's so far away from every other player in the NBA. It honestly seems like a mistake. It's like, what else do I have? Like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? Like,
So players, Jokic is scoring more points, which is like the weakest part of his game. If you talk about points, rebounds, assists, you'd go, okay, assists are number 1, rebounds number 2, points number 3. Guys, he's scoring more points per game than Joel Embiid, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Donovan Mitchell, Zion Williamson. These are people that are scoring fewer points per game than Jokic is this season.
You could list literally every player in the
And
NBA,
those are
right?
like the
All but
people
three.
that
He's 13th.
Everyone would assume are top scorers.
Right, exactly.
So if he does finish the season, this comes from my buddy TJ McBride. If he does finish the season at 25 points per game on 65 or better true shooting percentage, he would join a list of 7 players to ever do that. Of that list, the highest assist total during that season was Steph with 6.3.
Wow.
So he's not quite at that 30 point per game, but he's as efficient as anyone's ever been at 25, and we don't see assist numbers like this accompanying that.
Well, let's take our final break. On the other side, Harrison Wind set to join us. Want to hear what went on at
Get your jackets.
at Ball Arena? Better get your jackets. It's getting windy in here. And then finally, we're going to give a quick little discussion about Michael Porter, who is now back. We
NBA.
think unofficially.
Yeah,
we think
Mike.
he's back.
Yeah, Mike.
But first,
Oh yeah, so let's do our DraftKings pick of the week, before I talk about DraftKings. We were talking on that pregame show, like Jokic is a lock for these double-doubles. The thing is, DraftKings also knows that.
Yeah,
Yes, they do.
So if you're looking for a way to kind of make a similar bet, but you're looking for some better odds, this line isn't up yet, obviously, but Friday's game in Phoenix, I think Jokic's points, rebound, assist total, which they've been listing for each of these games, if that's up there, I think you have to throw money on this. The idea that he won't get there, I mean, he does it virtually every game.
Dude, I love this take.
And so that's with him getting like shorted on these assist opportunities. I think the floor is what we saw tonight. So the assist, the rebounds, the point total, take that for Phoenix Friday.
Because what I love about that is tonight you would have said, like, if you told him, we think he'll get more assists or whatever. No, he just got 27 points tonight, way more than they expected. So the assists are down, but the points
So
went
let's
up.
look. Last time they played the Suns, he had 17 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds. So what is that?
Almost a
20,
triple-double.
37. So very close. Looks like assists might be one to bang too against the Suns.
I also have the theory, though, about Jokic the second time in short order. And by the way, they play a second and third time. Again,
Yep.
they play back-to-back on the road at Phoenix. They just
he's
played
gonna
him a
cook
week and a
Ayton.
half, 2 weeks ago. I think Jokic, he remembers better than everybody else remembers, so I like it.
We should also just talk about DraftKings, guys. The return we've all been waiting for is finally here. UFC's most notorious icon stepping back into the octagon. Make sure you check out DraftKings Sportsbook for this Conor McGregor fight. New users can bet $1 on McGregor to win by knockout in the first round. If he does, you'll be cashing in $257. I'm just going to run through that math for you one more time. You put $1 down, and if he wins by knockout, you win $257. So just checking my notes. Yeah, you should do that. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up to turn $1 into $257. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code DNVR for new players to get $257. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Strava.
No, it's rugby, I think. You're throwing me off.
You did that.
Right? Yeah, it's rugby.
Okay.
Let's talk about this Colorado rugby read. As you all know, Infinity Park right here in Glenwood, Colorado is now known as Rugby Town, USA.
Rugby Town.
In fact, that facility was recently designated the Rugby Town National Training Center, which is home to the USA Eagles men's, women's, rugby 15s teams. So, translation here, Colorado is now the spot to be for U.S. rugby. And our guy Colton Strickler has it all covered for you with the weekly DNVR Rugby podcast. Subscribe to that. Follow him on our DNVR Rugby account to keep up with the latest news. I know very, very little about rugby. What I do know, I've learned from Colton. He's a great guy. He's great at this gig, so check him out. Subscribe to the podcast and follow him on Twitter.
All right, now we go to our man inside ball arena there. The man with the wind in his hair, the handsome one. Look at the arena there behind him, looking gorgeous. Harrison Wynn. Harrison, what's going on, buddy?
Son of a bitch.
What's going on, guys? You had me waiting in the waiting room like I was Brendan Vogt.
I can't hear him, Kale. Can you guys hear him? Hold on one second. It's
Little
just not
quiet.
very loud because we have the Avs game in the background that is extremely loud.
We'll do it live.
Extremely loud.
Stand tight, Wind.
Yeah, it's not my problem, guys. Sorry.
Let's see there.
You
You
look
there,
good, though.
Harrison?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I said you had me in the waiting room like I was Brendan Vogt or somebody. Like, just leave me out
Nobody
to
can
dry
hear
for,
that.
like, the last 5 minutes.
Harrison, just talk.
Yeah, we might not be able to
We
ask
might not
questions.
be able to hear you today just with how loud everything is, but can you tell us real quickly what the mood was post-game?
It was a great mood post-game. It was an awesome mood. Michael Malone had a great quote after this one, he thought. He said, we're 7-7. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do, but I like this team a lot. They have a competitive spirit. We're getting closer and closer. We've had some tough losses. Bounces haven't gone our way, but we're getting there. So that was Michael Malone's mood after this game. And I kind of thought tonight was almost so symbolic of how this Nuggets season has gone a little bit. Like, we know these guys can be good. I think sometimes they just mess around with an inferior opponent for a half, like they kind of did tonight, like they did against the Kings earlier this year, like they did against the Timberwolves at times, and then, you know, they turn it on for a stretch and really separate. So another night that was frustrating at times, but also another night that had them moving in the right direction, I thought, if that makes sense.
No, I think so too, and you're onto something with Malone. And we always talk about he has his finger on the pulse of the team, and sometimes he seems more concerned, and we're like, "Wow, there's something going on." But I do feel like the last few games, practices, media availability, he's been calm and confident. Like there's been a confidence, like they were moving in the right direction, and it sounds like tonight was an extension of that for him.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the bench again. And like you guys know my thing. The Nuggets have to trust their bench. They have to trust the JaMychal Green and Isaiah Hartenstein pairing. They have to trust the bench. And it was just like a little over a week ago, Michael Malone sounded like he didn't really trust the bench. He's like, they've got to earn my trust. Well, now, 3 or 4 games later, I mean, the trust is there. The trust is there. Like that third quarter tonight, it was the bench that kind of helped them pull away. So a step in the right direction.
Yeah. All right. Who spoke? What players talked?
So we talked to Monte, we talked to Paul, we talked to Nikola Jokic. Who do you want to hear from first?
Let's go to Jokic. Let's go to the big fella.
Okay. So I heard you guys talking about the dunks before I came on. I've been on this beat. I've been on the Nikola Jokic dunking beat. So I asked Paul Millsap, what's behind Jokic dunking the ball more? I mean, he's already almost, I'm sure you guys have the numbers, he's already almost caught up to how many dunks he had last season, and we played 14 games. Paul credited Jokic's work in the weight room. He said it seems like he's adding a couple inches to his vert like every game or every day. The guy's been a weight room warrior. And
Wait, did he say he's been a weight room warrior? Is that an exact quote, or is this a Harrison paraphrase?
That's a little bit of a paraphrase.
A paraphrase.
Just a little bit. But he credited his work in the weight room to just his increased athleticism and him dunking the ball more. So I thought that was interesting.
No.
And then I asked Jokic. Why he's dunking the ball this year. And you guys know how he's done that thing throughout his time in Denver where he says an answer and then right after it he says, just kidding. But we think that's really what he thinks, that answer he just gave? You know how he does that?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
So I asked him about, why he's dunking more this year, and he said because he likes to see the bench go crazy. He likes to see the bench react to his dunk.
He's like,
And then he said, just
assist makes one player happy.
dunk makes whole bench go
whole bench
crazy.
crazy.
right. He said just kidding, but he's definitely serious about that.
That's so funny, man. All right, what about Monte? I'm curious with Monte. We're all talking Monte, and you've been on this too. Monte's having one of the most underrated seasons possible, man. He's been incredible.
Totally. When Vogt and I did a little bit of a roundtable, a little bit of a back and forth last week, I think we both called him the Nuggets' third best player so far this season. I think we were both in lockstep on that. And he just continues to be that guy. Malone said Monte Morris has been, quote, phenomenal in all areas, scoring, defense, running his team, taking what the defense gives him. And I thought this was a great quote that Monte had tonight, just kind of assessing the upward trajectory that the Nuggets are on. This was a classic Monte quote here. He says, I feel like we're getting there. We're itching. We're climbing up the mine. It just shows you how good we can be. It's a tough Western Conference, but I feel like we're figuring it out. The sky's the limit for this team. We're climbing up the mine.
Climbing up the mine.
All right.
Yeah.
Like because they're digging for nuggets.
Mm-hmm. I see what you did there.
Hey,
All right. I'm asking.
think
I'm not
that's
even what I'm
exactly
doing. It's what
Monte
Monte
was
did. I
thinking.
assume it's a Nuggets metaphor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nobody else cares about this. All right. You didn't. There's one thing now. You've gotten through all these quotes. There's one quote you haven't got to. And that is something about batteries inside of a sock and beating people inside prison.
Soda cans.
Soda cans.
And we also saw a Will Barton quote that you put in the old production that seems like you should address it.
Well, first off, start with soda cans and pillowcases. What's going on here?
So apparently, Michael Malone locked Nikola Jokic in his office one day. This is a 100% verified story. And was beating him with, what was it, pillowcases, and I don't even remember, soda cans, just to get him to shoot the ball more. And so far it's worked. Apparently worked.
He is shooting more, though. I mean,
Wait, were the soda cans full? Like did he assault him to make him shoot more, or was it like
I
a
would
funny
assume they're
to make
full.
clinky
I would
noises?
assume they're
Why would
full,
you
why would you? What
empty
the?
soda cans in a pillowcase?
What? Are you serious? You thought the soda cans were empty?
I don't know what to think right now. I don't. I can tell you guys all think the answer is really obvious, but I still have no idea.
All I know is Malone went to prison. That's all I
Yeah,
know.
Malone's definitely been to prison. So, what was the Will Barton quote? You said you saw
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Well, that would be news to me because we didn't speak to Will Barton. So
Oh, well,
I'm
what the
not
H?
sure
I
where
read
the
something
Will
about
Barton
Will Barton has been speaking to God his whole life.
Oh, I think it was a tweet that Will Barton had.
Oh,
I think it was
okay,
a tweet
okay.
that Will Barton had. He tweeted, I have it right here, I put in the chat, I've been having conversations with God since I was 6, and he's been telling me I was chosen and special. That's why I've never paid any mind to mere mortals' opinion of me. And
Wow,
the only thing
that
I
is
have to say
absolutely
about that
fire.
is, hey,
See, it's
me too.
it's super cool if Will Barton says it. It's
I
not
know.
cool if Kyrie Irving says it. I don't know.
It's so true. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right. Any other notes or takeaways, Harrison, from the game?
I feel like I've been talking to God my whole life, and he's like not that impressed.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Harrison, was there anything about Jamal Murray tonight?
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
There wasn't. There was a lot to get to post-game. We did not ask anything about Jamal Murray, but a fourth straight quarter where he's really struggled from the field. Tossed the shooting sleeve aside to end the first half. Wasn't wearing the shooting sleeve in the second half. Thought that was interesting. But yeah, quiet night.
No. All right. Any parting thoughts, Harrison, before we get out?
I don't have any parting personal thoughts for the game, but just another quote here that I thought was interesting from Monte Morris. He said, He took Nikola aside a few days ago in the weight room. Of course, where else would Nikola Jokic be within the weight room? He told him, quote, everyone's talking about the Durants, the LeBrons, the Giannis's. We're playing with a Hall of Famer right here.
Love it.
That's a good
Facts.
Talking about Facu.
All right, Harrison, thanks so much, buddy. We're going to see you back here in the lounge, hopefully the Winners Lounge, for a long extended road trip.
Also,
we'll have the full squad.
Want
So-
you to know the fans in the comment section let us know you had a pretty sick burn. So we didn't hear it, but well done. We love you. You're very funny.
We'll listen to it later.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely a sick burn.
All right, thanks so
I have
much,
no idea
Harrison.
what you're talking about.
All right, guys, to wrap up the show, though, now Michael Porter on the horizon. It sounds like he's going to be back. This is, to me, they get back to. It's so fitting that the Nuggets are back to 7-7. They're back to 500.
Quest for 500.
The
baby.
quest for 500, because it does feel like we can reset. We hoped you could reset at like 4-4. There's all these times where like you could reset the season. Now we officially get to reset it 7-7. A lot of teams are 7-7. Michael Porter, how is this going to go with the reintegration, in your opinion? Is it going to be right out of the bat? It's a positive. I mean, look, tonight nobody could make a shot, right? Like we were talking about it. Michael Porter almost never struggles to make shots. What do you think, Dev?
I think that the Nuggets are really looking for just another big option. Right now they've been, filling the gaps with a lot of guys that are stepping up, a lot of guys that you're not suspecting, especially with Jamal Murray not being at his best. It's not that Jamal Murray's not capable. He's just not playing well right now. He's
Right.
hurt. So now you have another guy that you can lean on, another guy that can score and get going in bunches. So also I think that on a lot of teams you always hear about a guy coming in or a guy having a child or something like that, and that like gets the team back going. I think Michael Porter Jr. will be like a breath of fresh air for the team for them to like restart and get going.
What do you think, Eric?
So, I mean, you look at tonight, and the only other player that Nikola Jokic could rely upon was Will Barton, right?
Yeah.
And when asked about Michael Porter Jr., Michael Malone emphatically referred to him as the starting shooting guard, right?
Yeah.
So this to me says Will Barton will be going to the bench. Do we like? I don't know what this does to the production of the starting unit, but again, it's the beautiful vision we've seen that has been foretold of Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Nikola Jokic coming together as an unbreakable three. And this is just, we've got to get them all on the court in order for that to happen. So I think it's going to be rough to begin with, to start off with. It always is when there's something like a completely new wrinkle. Michael Porter Jr. is, in his heart, a ball-dominant player. We're going to see if, Jamal... Well, first off, we're going to see if Jamal plays.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But we're going to see if Jokic and Jamal trust him enough to give him the ball, like that we were seeing a lot in the preseason. So I think it's going to disrupt some things, but ultimately this is what we need to have happen for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, let's say it's rough. I mean, these were the growing pains we were prepared for anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like all this other stuff is neither here nor there until we see how it looks with MPJ. I think Dev's right in how it impacts the starters. The first thought is, do you consider resting Jamal with another big impact player out there? I think you have to. And then let's say the team gets whole. Who is the odd man out now? Is it PJ Dozier, who's starting to play well?
Right.
Is it Isaiah Hartenstein, who Harrison wishes Malone would trust, and he finally does, but does he like PJ alongside Thrill, alongside Monte? So there are a whole new set of questions are about to arise. But these are the questions that need to be answered before we know who this team is.
I think that could be, in some ways, a lucky break if Jamal Murray either needs to miss a game or two, which I wouldn't be surprised. You play Phoenix twice.
Yep.
Maybe it makes sense. You get Wednesday off, Thursday off. You give Jamal Friday off, Saturday off. Then they play on Saturday. It is a back-to-back. Maybe you have one healthy body. But more to the point, even if Jamal Murray does play, maybe he needs to ease himself. Like, would love to take 20 shots a game. Maybe he's like, you know what, I'm going to take even fewer. Because the Jokic MPJ two-man game really blossomed last year when that was all they had. That and plus Barton. And it really came together. And I think it could help the team. And this is no one's fault. I'm not saying this is a Jamal Murray fault or anything else. It could help the team for MPJ to be the second option for a while Jamal Murray is either out or just hobbled to the point where it's like, hey, I'm a fourth quarter second option, but I'm a first, second, and third quarter third option.
Yeah.
And that might, I don't know, it might shake out that way.
I don't think that there's going to be one guy that's out. I think that we're just going to see more lineup or opponent dependent lineups on the bench. Like I think you're going to see nights where Facu is not playing because it's the point guard he's going up against would be like Chris Paul, for example. Like Facu probably should not play at all against the Suns, since we watched Chris Paul absolutely hunt him last time.
I think you're right.
But I feel like PJ Dozier will be in there sometimes. We've seen already this year where sometimes Hartenstein doesn't play. So I imagine it'll just give Malone a lot more, tinker time.
You're probably right.
So, yeah, absolutely. Michael Porter's just too good. The one thing I'll say is I'm excited. You get a lot of confidence out of beating good teams, and Denver hasn't really done that yet. They beat the Warriors, right? Are there any other games that they don't really have that many great wins under their belt? You go on this road trip. Any win you get on this road trip will be considered a good win. And I think Denver needs to get at least 2, if not 3, out of the 6 wins that they're about ready to go. It's going to be a tough task. But with each good win, your team gets more confidence. And I think when we saw Michael Porter only play 4 games, the team didn't have any good wins in that stretch there. I think if you get 1, it's easier to get the second. If you get 2, it's easier to get the third. And if you can get 3 out of 4 on this road trip, I just feel like it's a mental hurdle Denver can clear. And then we get back to the old Nuggets and the Nuggets that we kind of expected from them. So a big road trip, a meaningful one. And, I'm just excited. Michael Porter, man, like I've been, I'm ready for some new excitement.
Bad.
And there's like no bigger variable than Michael Porter Jr.
This is
like
what the
most
season's
exciting
about, man. This is what it's about.
Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in with us. Don't forget Friday pregame show. You don't want to tune in 30 minutes before. We'll do a pregame show. We'll have a postgame show for you as well to kick you off into your weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
You guys
hit the like button. Hit the like button.
Like it.